What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Output with me, your host, DJ Unprotected. I'll be riding solo this episode, that's right, but don't be worried or alarmed, as this is our 10th episode. Can you believe it? Okay, so first off, I want to say thank you for tuning in and listening to the show as we continue to get better and better, okay? And so, what can you expect in this wonderful 10th episode? Well, we're going to talk about why I'm riding solo this episode. I'm going to cover podcaster lessons learned. And you may be thinking to yourself, wow, DJ Unprotected, like, why do we care about podcaster lessons learned and coming from you? Well, I've got a little bit of a history doing podcasts, and there are new podcasts starting up every week. So by chance, maybe you want to start one. I would love to share some of the learning experience, and I would let you know what my experience has been, okay? And of course, we are going to cover the music industry and some hot news going on with that, specifically talking about the WAP music video with Cardi B featuring Megan Thee Stallion. I'm sure you've seen it. The thing got like 55 million views within the first day or so. And there's quite a bit of drama behind that video. So I want to talk about it. Was it a marketing plea, or was it legit? Hey, we're going to release this type of video. Who knows? And I'm also going to discuss my new release that I put out last Friday called Skinny Dip, and discuss the inspiration and thought process behind this project. So that's wrapping up the music news. Now we've got some other cool stuff to talk about on the show. Traveling to Mars, more space talk to include a super secret of mine that most people don't know. And I'm going to hook you guys up with my fitness update. And then finally, we're going to cover finding peace in a loud, secluded world. That's right. We're going to find that namaste, naman go. You know what I'm talking about. And we're going to discuss about finding an escape through all of this madness, other than going to Mars. But we're going to get to that later, all right? Okay, so here we go, rolling right into it. All right, why am I riding solo? Well, here's the thing. Recently, I did a huge studio equipment upgrade. And I mean huge, okay? I went from having essentially like 3 different laptops to get whatever music job that I needed to done. I had a Mac Pro that was a mid-2010 version, one of the tall towers, the original cheese grater. Got that in, I think, 2011. It's the old model, but got that brand new back then, and it was like maybe about $3,500. And I think it served me pretty well in the studio. But it was time for an upgrade because I start to get hot, man. Towers have those fans, and I think that had older cooling technology, and so there was a little bit of sound to it. I did some sound tests, and it added about 7-8 dBs to the room, which may not seem like a lot, but it was. And then obviously the heat. So I upgraded to a very recent MacBook Pro 13-inch, maxed it all out except for the internal SSD. I did not max that out. I didn't see a reason to, because I can use external drives. Now, some people might say, why didn't you just get the 16-inch if you were going to, boost the internal processor as much as you can, as well as I got 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is the most that you could get. And honestly, like 16 inches is too big for me, for a laptop, because I want to travel. I want to be more mobile, especially going to, going to be on the move. Like, hopefully next year we can start traveling again, but I just want one system, one laptop that I can take to DJ gigs, that I can use for producing in here, and that I can also use when I go and, work with clients. I mean, I think that's the way producers are, and if they aren't, which I was 3 weeks ago, needed to be at a place where you can be very mobile. And obviously, if you're working remote at a studio, a large studio, maybe with big projects and composing and doing a bunch of stuff for video, then maybe a cheese grating Mac Pro would be the choice. But for me, it's not, so I'm super excited about this upgrade. I think it's going to bring great benefit. Now, with that, riding solo, this is kind of like a test, because last week I got the Mac Pro, but this week is everything set up and solely relying on the new MacBook Pro. So last week recorded on old system. This week we've got the new system. And so that's why I didn't want to have a guest and then run into hiccups. So I've been testing the system, and then we're going to, basically see how this goes. But so far so smooth. And anyway, that's why we are riding solo. And I think that it may be a cool idea to go solo every other episode and then bring a guest back. We're going to test the waters, been working with the company to make sure that this process works. But that's why you just got me today. All right. So let's roll into the next topic, which is podcaster lessons learned. All right. A little bit of background. I have produced the first 2 seasons of the Unrestricted with Ryan Johnson podcast, also by Aztec Nation. And then I started to test it was kind of like a pilot series with another host who wanted to get on board, but we wanted to see the avenue of that show, but produced the first few episodes, and we were working through that. So I've got a little bit of experience with the podcaster lessons learned, or with doing podcasts, which has developed a lessons learned list. And especially at 10 episodes of my own show, I think it's important to always try to build and develop your processes. And I think these lessons learned could work towards any project, depending on whatever you're doing or wanting to work on, right? Because if you ever start a project, a career, a side hustle, whatever it is, if you aren't continuously trying to find ways to get better, to learn, then I don't really know if success is in the future. You may find short-term success, but to continue to grow and get better, I think it's important to evaluate and have people around you talk about how shows can get better. And the company Aztec Nation has, a great board of directors and people to, offer advice and stuff like that. So I've got some lessons learned that I've noticed from doing a podcast here, 10 episodes in, all right? So the first thing is flexibility to get success. Yes, it is important to have a very strict schedule, but that comes down to very specific things. But I think that flexibility is important when it comes to other people's time. What do I mean by that? I mean, scheduling guests, recording. Things are going to happen that life takes over, and sometimes schedules get backed up. Sometimes equipment fails out. Sometimes internet doesn't work or connect. You know what I mean? And so for those of you guys who have Spectrum, I know you know what I'm talking about. I don't have Spectrum. I have Google Fiber, and it is awesome. All right. So flexibility is absolutely important. Now, on the flip side of that, it is important to have deadlines in the schedule. So my editing schedule is very tight. I like to keep it down to a T. I think the first few episodes, editing between the audio and video on my older system, because rendering and all that jazz and 4K video, it took way too long. I was looking at like 3 hours of editing time. Way too much. I'm not going through and cleaning up the audio to a point of bleeping out or cutting out cuss words. Like, I just don't do that. So if bad words get said, they ride with the show. I'm not, I'll maybe scan through the podcast and see if there's any bad clicks, pops, whatever, but I kind of do some audio magic shortcuts to get to the end of that. So I've got my editing down to about less than an hour, which is pretty cool. And then I upload after that. So it's working good. All right. The next lessons learned is having a clear and concise communication pattern with guests and obviously with the company. Now, it's important to have that clear and concise communication with guests. It could be friends. It could be people that you're paying to be on the show. It doesn't matter. That clear and concise communication is so that they know exactly what's required, when they need to be there, and that is it. They just tune in. You remind them of the do's and don'ts, like for the process that I use for my guests when we're recording remotely is, hey, use a laptop, make sure you have headphones, all right? That's how you get the best quality. And I'm not afraid to remind them of that, because in essence, they're either going to think about the show too much and worry how to make sure that something's good. Hold on 1 second. I have to get some peppermint water. Or they're not thinking about it enough. Okay, so it never hurts to have clear and concise communication way before, a few days up till, and then the day of the show. All right, and then that leads into the next lessons learned is make the guest experience the best experience. It is never their fault. So if there are technological equipment issues, whatever it may be, it is not their fault. It is your show. You got to make it happen. And if maybe they tune in without headphones, well then hopefully the system has a way of doing the noise canceling so that way you don't get the echoes, all right? So that's what I'm saying, like make their experience great and then you fix things on your end. Because in essence, they're just popping on the show and also providing outlines of content so they can be prepared, because you know what? Good guests are going to do research. So the things that you talk about or maybe about you, the host, they're going to do research just like you are doing research on your guests. And obviously this can go towards any type of hustle that you've got going on, all right? And then the next thing that I've learned is it's okay to have an opinion on the show. You sit here just stating facts. I'm going to turn into a weird news channel. I think opinions are okay because you know what? You're tuning in and it's not wrong to hear what I've got to say or what the guest got to say. I mean, I'm not a data reporter. I'm sitting here chopping it up on the output, baby. All right. So it's okay to be honest with what needs to be said. All right. If you guys want the news, well, you can research it. I'm just going to hit you with some of the things that I've found and brought up and discuss it with the guests and whatnot. So opinions are cool. And then finally is dream big, but approach with patience. I'm going to say that one more time. Dream big, but approach with patience. All right. Expect large results, but live within the current expectations and feedback. And I will admit, I was doing a lot of research before we started this podcast, and I was looking at other successful podcasts and how they created like an income stream through their following on Patreon and, you know, putting videos up on Vimeo and a whole bunch of other things, and signed up for it all. But the truth is, yeah, it's a great dream to have, to know that you've got followers who want to know the behind the scenes. They want to know, you know, before and after of working with the guests, and then maybe some, you know, side conversations of just me. Who knows? But not at that point yet. So it's okay to dream big and expect that to happen one day, but to be patient about it and be prepared when that moment comes, when you realize you have a following, then you can start doing more for the fans, giving the people what they want and need, not trying to offer them something that nobody at the time really, you know, is into it. You got to give people time. So those are the podcaster lessons learned, and maybe they could be applied to any career, any side hustle, whatever. The key thing though is always seek out lessons learned, ways to improve, be better, and whatnot. Cool. And hey, if you've maybe got some extra things you want to add to this lessons learned because you've tuned into the show, then feel free, you know the spiel. Hit me up on Twitter at DJ Unprotected. I'd love to talk about it. That's where we post a lot of things relating to the output. So hit me up on there. Let's chat it up. Okay. I'm going to grab another drink of water because this next topic is hot. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay. What are we talking about? What's hot? That WAP. Is it WAP? WAP? I forget. The WAP. I think it's WAP because it's like that water sound. And you guys know what I'm talking about. The music video drama. Okay, first off, that music video is hot. All right. I thought it was cool. You know, I'm not a huge fan of like Megan Thee Stallion. Like the music and stuff, like doesn't really, I don't know. It's not majorly my vibe. I play it at gigs because, it gets the dance floors packed, you know, pre-COVID, but it's very interesting. But one of the biggest dramas about this is that Carol Baskin isn't happy to see that Wildcats are appearing in this music video. Like, you got to be kidding me. Here is somebody who makes money right? Of course, it's donation based or whatever, but she makes money by allowing people to take pictures and see the big cats. So here we are seeing it. And honestly, okay, I watched the video and it kind of looked like it was CGI. And not as bad as the Walking Dead tiger, okay? But it does look a little bit like it was, created in the studio. I'm not sure. You guys check it out. You guys be the judge. Let me know. But it kind of looks CGI to me, unless it was just because the whole thing seemed like it was, videoed in front of a green screen. Maybe that was the issue. But anyway, so that's the drama behind it, like that it's glamorizing that rich people can own big cats. Duh. I mean, it's in movies. Like, who else can afford to feed a big cat like 70 pounds of meat? I mean, seriously, think about it. Like, it is not cheap. We got people during this pandemic who can't even afford food for themselves. They're not eating 70 pounds of meat in a week. Get out of here. So, obviously, like, there's a stigma behind, like, hey, if you got money, you can buy what you want. If you want an exotic pet, you can buy that pet. All right. And, since like Tiger King showed that, I mean, you could see it in the show. What I learned from the show is that if you have cute little, tiger cubs, you are going to get laid or you're going to get money. Like, it's the two things that happen. So you can fight me on this, but I don't know why Carol Baskin is even saying anything. Maybe it's a plea like, hey guys, check me out. Hey, all you cool cats, check this out. Don't watch that video and see my cats. So who knows? But more drama in that video is that, fans were like, why was Kylie Jenner in that video? And I guess it came to an issue. They don't think that she should have been in it because of that video was kind of expressing a movement where it was like featuring, black and brown women. And they were spotlighted for their beauty in the video. And people were like, well, why was Kylie Jenner in it? Dude, who cares? Like, to me, I'm not tripping about it. I'm not that much of a music video fanatic. I'll catch them when they're new, when they're hot, like cruising through YouTube or when I'm looking through the charts. But here's the thing, like, I miss the OG MTV and VH1 days. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, okay, depending on the age range of those tuning in to this podcast, but late 90s, early 2000s, definitely late 90s, you would have like the top 50, top 100 countdowns of either the century or the past, 2 years, maybe not century, decade. Okay. So, but you'd have these awesome countdowns. And obviously, like, 100th video, let's just say example, 50 top videos. The 50th video, you get to watch the whole thing. And the majority of the 49 through 20, you'd probably only watch like a minute of it. Okay. But man, those days were cool because I just remember the impact that those videos had on me, where like, I remember I was watching it and I was like the P. Diddy song, which one? Oh man. I'm not even going to try to rap it here, and I'm going to do what I hate when people come to me when they come up asking for a song. All About the Benjamins. That's it. When he had that video and he was like in that school and then he put on the show or whatever, like, it was cool. But I remember talking on the phone with my friends and listening to that video and talking about it, and like that stuck with me. So music videos have a weird way of impacting you, but I don't know if that impact still exists today. Like, music videos seem like they pop up and people are like, oh cool, maybe they'll rewatch them, but do they really stick with people like they used to? Because everything else is so fast paced, and maybe that one video is hot, but like a year later it randomly comes up and it's not like consistently played unless it's in like a music playlist that someone listens to at work. Like, I don't know. Would love to know your guys' thoughts on that, if music videos have the same impact. But to wrap that whole thing up, I thought it was cool. These women, okay, I'm talking about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, are coming through with exactly what the fans are going to want to see, or what people are going to want to see, which is sex sells. They look beautiful. They're showing it off in the videos, and they bring other women, who are also beautiful, sexy, and they put them on, and everyone hits play, and that's it. And it's a catchy, simple track. It's very sexual. I wish we could play it on air, but to play stuff on podcasts, it's kind of like the radio thing. You got to use specific podcast clear tracks because technically these are, podcasts are free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but Spotify doesn't play right if you happen to put music on your show that isn't cleared. So I'm not going to do it. I wish I could, but anyway, cool track. I think that's like the hot music industry news of the week because they just blew it out of the water. Get it? Speaking of water, I'm thirsty before we cruise in to the next piece of music. I don't know if I told y'all, but I absolutely love peppermint essential oil in my water. It's truth. Okay, so next up, I put out a new release this past week called Skinny Dip. And here's the really cool thing about it is that it was a different type of inspiration for me. Normally, if you listen to my last album or my EP before this one, it was called, This Is How I Feel. It was very tech house inspired, a lot of, four on the floor type beats with the, the hi-hats, but it was kind of like, chopped up vocals, like longer tracks, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And so that's where that one was at. And I was inspired by that from when I was DJing some EDM nights at this local bar in San Antonio called Web House, all pre-COVID. But anyway, the inspiration for this one's different because it felt like when we were doing quarantine and I was like secluded and March, April, everything was shut down. You could, people didn't know if it was safe to like order food. And so you maybe taking trips once in a while to go get things you needed. It was wild, right? And during that time, I was like hanging out outside. And I think in June, I started to get like a little bit depressed because, social life took a hit and there were things impacting me. So I knew that just to change things up, music can really have an impact on people. And for me, music means a lot. I mean, I love music. Obviously, I'm always listening to it. I love to play it. I'm a musician, So I want to be happy. So I started listening to like jazz house and EDM chill stations on digitally imported radio, which is awesome app. I'll tell you guys about that another time. But I was like listening to this more uplifting kind of tropical chill music. And I was like, you know what? Like this stuff, you got pianos, some cool beats. You've got, the bongos, the congas, the rhythmic elements, the ear candy, the pads, the vocal synths. It just sounded really cool to me, man. And I wanted to. So that was kind of the inspiration for Skinny Dip. And I really wanted to come up with a album title that was going to be like refreshing. So there was a couple floating around, but I had posted 2 images on my Instagram for people to vote on, and it ended up being like a, 87-13 split of people wanted the Skinny Dip cover, and then the other cover was like this old, it was a vintage photo of a dog hanging out on this bed. It was going to be cool. I was going to call it something like, Sunday afternoons or Sunday evenings because I think Sunday evenings offer a different type of feel depending on the weekend, but that was it. And, it was a lot of piano. I played the piano for the whole tracks. Like they were the driving force of it. I was fortunate to find some vocals from this female singer. So I bought the samples and it was on the second song of the Skinny Dip project called Feel Alive. Again, I really just wanted to listen to something that could offer a mental escape, not only for myself, but for other people if they listen to it. Something relaxing, something where if you feel like you've missed out on beach vacations or pool parties or whatever it may be, that you could find this relaxing moment of peace through music. So that's kind of what featured that. Now, it's interesting. Every time I've had a release like this past year, I submit my music to music blogs, mainly for the review so that way I can get some media feedback on my website. But, submit it because here's what happens with these music blogs is that they can take your track and they can feature it, which is pretty cool. They'll feature it on their website. And for the last project, this is how I feel. Not one song got accepted, and I probably spent $20, 10 credits or whatever, and submitted it to like a bunch of blogs. I think it was at least like 10 blogs. The songs, some songs went to the same blog, and other ones, didn't. But I just based it. But yeah, nobody accepted it. The first time they're like, hey, this sounds really good. The mix is good, but it's not our taste, blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing, like music's real subjective. And when you're submitting things for a review, that's what you're putting it in their hands of, because they aren't listening to it as a consumer. Consumers listen to music completely differently than someone critiquing it. Consumer will listen to something. If they like it, they'll keep playing. If it doesn't catch them, they'll either let it just go in the background, depending what they're doing, or they'll just hit next, all right? But people are critiquing music in some type of form of acceptance, a competition. They will just think about everything, the layers, what they, is it muddy? Does it sound messed up? Or the vocal's a shitty choice, all that jazz. Like, so it's funny that you'll get feedback that's like, well, the bass line really wasn't what I was digging. The bass didn't sound edgy enough for me. There's one dude in my last project, he said, it was very cool beat. I was really surprised by the synths, but the bass line, I was expecting something more 90s, but you gave me an 80s bass line, and that was a deal breaker for me. No thanks. And it's like, okay, you know how long I spent on that bass line? Fuck you, dude. Like, I did not create that whole song so that somebody could sit there and be like, that bass line, So that's the subjectivity of it. And you just got to understand that submitting to the blogs. But I was never like upset. I was like, cool, thanks for the feedback. Some of them get technical, like, oh, I felt like there was too much reverb on the hand clap. Like, again, fuck you, dude. Like, you are listening to a song and you're worried about a reverb on a hand clap. I mean, there are some mixing engineers who, critiqued the Thriller album and thought that reverb was overly used on that. And that's one of the best selling albums of all time. So, you know what? No one, like, that feedback it's not worth it. Like, in the big scheme of things, like, nobody cares if you like the bass line or if the reverb's too much. But what I do care about is, like, are you vibing with the song or are you not? Is it something that appeals that can make it on a website? Do you think you could hear it in a playlist? Like, that's important. But like I said, like, you're paying for someone to get their critique or thoughts, and then you're at the mercy of what they want to say. And I just, I never take it personally, but as a producer, like, don't be judging my bass line, man. Like, it's not the point of me submitting to you. When I send music to my music, engineer friends, and sound engineers and other producers, I want them to be like, hey man, bass could have been a little more edgy or too much reverb on the hand clap, but not some dude writing a blog. I'm not looking for that from you. But anyway, the good news is, so when I submitted this time, Skinny Dip project, it actually got selected to be featured, and I want to shout out the blog. They're called Surviving the Golden Age, and I think it's STGA, and you can find them on Twitter, and they have a website. I thought it was pretty cool. They accepted it, and after my song was released, actually this week, they decided to write a little blurb and feature it on their website. So thought that was pretty cool. And why am I telling you that story? Because never give up. I kept submitting. I mean, look, it goes back to it. Like, the Beatles were told no like 1,000 times until they got a gig. And so I never take it personally. I just continue to go through the motions. But it's just interesting to think about the process of the critiques and what really has value. I don't know. Do you guys agree? Hit me up on Twitter at DJ Unprotected. One day you guys will get it. Okay, next topic. So that was pretty fun. Music news going hot. What's next? Traveling to Mars. This one really blew my mind. So all these people are signing up to go to Mars to reserve their spot, right? And it's like a 7-month trip. Okay, but they're trying to go to Mars. What about Earth? What about focusing on our current problems? I mean, there have been images of the Earth from like far away, from like telescopes and not telescopes, but yeah, I guess telescopes and other aircraft, spacecraft that have flown, just been, we're going on a mission to see how far they could go and find things, right? And on their way of that journey, they take a picture of Earth really far away, and you see this beautiful little blue marble. The color blue is just so beautiful. Like when you see it, it's not like, oh, there's the Earth. They're like, wow, look how beautiful it is. Like, is it by chance that we live on the most beautiful, now not like miraculous or mysterious, but the most beautiful? Like, does that mean something? Like, we should be proud to be like, we live on the most beautiful planet in our solar system. We're not red, crusty, and dry. We're not filled with gas that would just kill everything, or that there's gigantic storms just that don't stop. I mean, seriously, like, we live on an awesome planet in the solar system, but yet we have people who are like, yep, fuck this shit, I'm out. Like, why aren't we focusing on our current problems? The pandemic, like, let's focus here and try to save people here and put our minds together to fix what's going on here, not out there. Look, I'm all about like big picture thinking, obviously, and like expansion and seeing what else we can learn, but we got to figure this shit out right now. Like, why are we escaping? We want to have people in this generation, the youth, to approach problems head on and find solutions, and not sign up to escape, to get off of the planet, to be like, that's it, send me somewhere else that we don't even know if life can exist. We've got maybe robots up there, machines cruising around, but what really would happen if could life be sustained on Mars? And what would happen if you were there for a long time? What are the effects? So many things we don't know, but there's more things that we got to figure out, because we know things here. We know we've got diseases. We know we've got illness, but we have ways of fixing them through science and research and all that jazz. So that's what I'm tripping about. Like, are we really signing up to go to Mars when we've got issues to be fixed here? Like, why not promote funding towards education or more digital learning environments? I mean, we're in a world where you can learn and go to school thousands of miles away. It's crazy. Like, why would we not try to help out the youth instead of funding this money, putting it into space projects or whatever it may be to send people to the Mars or sell real estate on the moon? Like, why is it money going towards, to support some type of learning system to where every child in that school could have a tablet, could have like a Chromebook or something, to where that they could access the school materials just like anybody else, regardless of what that household income was? Like, why aren't we focusing on that? Like, it's crazy to me. And don't get me wrong, like, okay, hold on a second. I'm going to take a drink of my peppermint water. It's been a long day, by the way. I'm surprised like I have a voice, because I was in meetings all day at my real job. All right, so here, let me continue. All right, I love space. And here's a secret about me. I'm kind of a low-key geek when it comes to sci-fi and space travel movies. I'm not kidding, okay? I've seen the Alien series probably almost 10 times. I've seen Prometheus and Covenant at least 5 times each this year. Watched them in sequence. Okay, it absolutely seems awesome to me that we were traveling and they were going on, missions to try to see what else was out there. Pretty cool. Okay, but that's movies, and it's just interesting to see them live and do all that jazz on what could be like a life-sustaining spacecraft. Now, Um, but let's really think about this. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. I thought it was a good movie. I don't know if it's something that I would watch again because I don't think it was that exciting. Like the beginning was really cool, but anyway, what I'm getting at is like they run into space pirates on the moon. So what about space terrorists? Terrorists? What about if we start getting into this thing where we are openly traveling to like the moon, and then anybody can kind of go? Like, at what point do you stop vetting the system to where people can freely travel to the moon? And then maybe there's a space base up there and you can hang out for like 3 days and then you come back. But there's going to be bad people. Like, evil finds a way of existing everywhere. And so there's something else to think about. Like, what would happen if there's an explosion on a space base on the moon? Well, then you got to send up a rescue mission, which is going to take like, I don't know, like I think it took them like several days, like take you several days, to get there. Like, dude, we got to like put this thing into real, real picture. What are we focusing on? Let's fix the stuff here. Okay. But since we're on the topic of space, I want to talk about the Alien series. All right. Because is it so true that they may be sending us a message? And by they, I mean the minds behind creating Alien, the Alien series, but AI advancements, like, should we be cautious about them? There have been several sci-fi movies about, artificial intelligence and robots, their advancements, and how they end up turning on humans. What if they are forecasting how we could end up harming ourselves through increasing AI capabilities? And I think it comes down to the creator-created conflict, right? The creator creates something, okay, but that creator still has more questions. And then the created is like, I know my creator, but you don't. So does that make me inferior, right? So it's interesting to think about, but it could be, and who knows? It's like a never-ending story when that happens, because you have the creator created the I'm going to be better than you. So who knows? But you're welcome, because my fascination for space travel and sci-fi is definitely one of those you got to know me secrets. And for my future girlfriend out there, whoever you may be, I like to watch sci-fi movies. So late night, watch a sci-fi movie. That sounds like a good time to me. And, it's fun to talk about, but it's interesting to think about, but not interesting to think about going to Mars right now in the middle of a pandemic. I really think we should focus our efforts on handling things here. And you guys are crazy if you're prepaying for that. Like, who knows? Okay. 7 months traveling. I don't like being on a plane for longer than 3.5 hours. Could not imagine being on a rocket ship or spacecraft or whatever it would be with what we've got going for us right now. It's not like we haven't created, being able to sleep for a long time. And I don't know, or unless they've tried that for the past 10 years and just didn't tell anybody, who knows? All right. Before I start spacing out, let's just move on. Man, I really apologize because I feel like I don't have a voice. Like, maybe I should start doing these podcasts in the morning. Some work days, I had so many meetings today. Okay, squirrel. All right, listen. I want to talk about my fitness updates. Okay, so what are my updates? Well, I canceled my gym membership. Talked about this on episode 8. Canceled my membership. Canceled my gym membership, and I ended up buying this thing called the X3 bar or X3 Elite bar, whatever. I'm 4 weeks into it. It wasn't cheap. It was like $500, but it came with a workout program, an Olympic style, like small bar. It's like, no wider than it's small, but it's got hooks on it. And I don't know, so far it's so good. The workouts are only like 10, 15 minutes. Comes with a 12-week program and advances beyond that. So I took some pictures. It's funny, the week 1 photos looked very quarantine-y. So I wouldn't say I gained 19 pounds, but I definitely like, yeah, I don't know, it just looked different than when I was like going to the gym like 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Now I was still running and stuff, but I think there's an impact to your muscle definition and strength when you aren't actively going to the gym or whatnot. But I feel like 4 weeks, I'm not going to do progress photos until week 12. And then considering posting them on Instagram, not to be some douchebag taking pictures with my shirt off, or because I'm not like a fitness expert, and not to say that fitness guys who are like going for competition or their way of life is work out and take care of themselves in that sense and try to be like a fitness model. Not calling you guys douchebags. You guys know the douchebags I'm talking about. The guys who every photo is them with their shirt off, and whether they got six-pack abs or not, they're doing it, okay? Not even a dad bod. You know what I'm talking about. The guys who are ruining the game for those of us on dating apps like Tinder and whatnot. Those dudes, okay? I'm not going to be that guy. I'm just going to post some progress photos to see if there was a change from week 1 to week 12, like everybody else is on their Facebook page for the X3 bar group. But I want to see what's up with that. It should be really dope. But anyway, I've been enjoying it so far and I'm feeling good. And I think that's important. Mentally feel good. Remember, I was going through depression in June, created some great music, in my opinion. And then I'm physically feeling good, mentally, spiritually is good, which I'm going to talk about now. Finding peace in a loud, secluded world. I'm not going to ride this one too hard, but finding peace, like whether you're working, whether you're not working, I think it's important to find and take a couple days off, escape, get away from the house, go stay at like a secluded hotel or something, not too far away, but something that's safe. Definitely not a resort, wasting your money doing that, but something to just get away and like be in a different environment. I think it would be valuable, especially being on call for work. Like on call for work is not a vacation because people consider that as a call you all the time. 8 o'clock at night is the same as 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So being on call sucks, but I am going to pursue finding some days, maybe even a week where I go and just go escape to somewhere locally but find that moment where I don't feel like I'm home and I can just maybe just create music for that time and just chill. That's really what I want to do. Okay. So this about wraps it up for episode 10. Guys, this has been exciting and it's been great. Man, this commitment level is awesome. 10 episodes in and I only missed one episode. I don't know. That's pretty impressive. Like we started this thing back in, I think May, end of May, something like that. First week of June. I don't know, but I have to look back at the dates, but I think it's pretty cool. 10 episodes. We've had some awesome guests. I'm going to work on building that up. Maybe doing this thing every other week of riding solo, but it's been fun. I love it. All right. So everybody, thank you again for tuning in to the 10th episode of The Output with your host, yours truly, DJ Unprotected. So this has been a podcast presented by Aztec Nation. Now I invite you to check out the company's other podcasts. You got Killing Time. That's TYME, which releases on Mondays. You get a cool insight to some dudes just chopping it up as they share some beers and they got topics and, you get to hang out with them essentially. And then you've got the Unrestricted with Ryan Johnson podcast, which releases on Wednesdays, starting up for season 3 in September. It's an awesome show. Definitely inspiring. He interviews, very successful doctors, writers, entrepreneurs. And I think in this season, he's got Olympic gold medalists. So it's very cool. So definitely tune in, guys. All right. So I hope you're picking up what we're putting out. We got a lot to say. See you next week. We out.